Andy, it's Wiki. Just calling you up. I noticed you're on Discord playing Space Marine 2 right now, and then probably the main reason you didn't pick up. But me and the boys, we're getting a little bit concerned for you right now.
Hey, buddy, it's Chaotic. I'm just calling you to see how you're doing and stuff. Lad, me and the other guys were worried. We are worried sick.
I bet he hasn't touched grass in weeks.
Andy? It's your mother. Where are you, puppy?
Rem, you gotta stop with all the Space Marine gaming. You see, you got a bit too much.
Remembrancer, Dad is worried, Mom is worried, I'm worried, and even the dog is worried.
It's been days, we haven't seen you leave the house, apparently you haven't left the room, I don't know if you're eating anything.
So, I've been playing Space Marine 2. And before anyone says anything, I am not addicted to playing Space Marine 2. All I did was, I thought, well, I should probably get all the achievements, so I did. And then I should probably max all the classes out, which I did. And then I should upgrade all the guns to mastery and get all the mastery perks and make them all relics. And I should buy all the cosmetics. And 150 hours later, I succeeded. So with that said, I think I'm more than qualified to talk about Space Marine 2. This is not an IGN review where I'm going to go, oh, the combat was kind of fun, but I didn't like it. I played for 5 minutes. 4 out of 10. This is going to be me giving my honest opinion on the game overall. I think you can tell that I obviously quite enjoyed the game, but with that said, there are still a few things which I think need improvement. So I've written down some notes, let's go through the basics. Number 1. So at the moment, if you have not played Space Marine 2, I would describe it in one word, which would be moreish. You can pick up the game, you can do campaign, you can do PvP, PvE. Every single game mode is quite satisfying, especially the PvE. I love the ability to just jump into a game as any Space Marine cosmetic I want, whether I'm playing as an assault with a thunderhammer, a bulwark with a power sword, playing as a tactical with an array of guns, or playing as a heavy and just going and mowing everything down. It's really, really satisfying. That said, there are a few problems. There's a great variety of guns, so there's everything from I want to be precise snipey man to I want to do mowing down hordes of Tyranids. There's a bunch of grenade combinations. The melee weapons for the beginning of PvE feel really underpowered and weak, and this is kind of a problem with the PvE overall. When you start out playing the game, you won't feel very powerful. All the weapons, when they're in that kind of grey basic mode, are extremely underwhelming. They barely do any damage, and it's not until you get into the late game where you're playing Ruthless difficulty, where all the Tyranids and Chaos enemies are just throwing themselves, hurling themselves at you, and you can really get a sense of, this is carnage, and I love being here. The campaign was really fun. I wouldn't say the story was amazing. It still didn't really resolve a lot of the plot threads from the first Space Marine game. There's obviously some interesting insight with connections to the Emperor and the Ultramarines and how they interact, and that's kind of fun. There were some amazing moments, like my favorite thing in the entire game was the Dreadnought.
Where are the traitors? They are everywhere.
Guy comes crashing through a wall and he's like, where is Magnus? And you're like, oh, it's okay, we'll go find him. And then you go outside and he's like, is Magnus here? It's like, no, he's not here. Fine, I'll kill his sons, it'll do.
Vile sons of Magnus. Is he here? He is not.
And then he throws a statue at a Helldrake. It's amazing. The scale, just the vistas where you can see like hordes of Tyranids or the big beams or the gigantic Lord of Change just on the horizon looking menacing, and you're just there running around in your Space Marine power armor, seeing the Ichalcadians tearing the viscera from the more fleshy enemies in the game. I love how you can just barrel into the guardsmen and they just you just eviscerate them by the fact that you're just a walking tank, and you really feel the weight of every stride as you're running around. And then there's this little guy, you just go squish and he becomes jam. It's the best thing ever. But that said, there are still some problems with the game I want to highlight. First of all, the multiplayer is not really worth it. After playing a few games, and I'm not much of a PvP guy these days, but let me just gloat by putting a scoreboard here. This is the typical kind of placement I am on multiplayer games in general, but I usually swear at the screen when someone shoots me in the back, and it makes me into a bit of a monster. So I try not to play PvP because I get really competitive. That said, the multiplayer as it stands right now doesn't give you an incentive to play it. If I play PvE, every single time I finish a mission, I unlock a piece of gear. And this is the same, I believe, for PvP, but why wouldn't you do the PvE version? Because you can also level up the guns you can use in PvE. The weapons in the PvP arena are all the basic versions. There's no upgradability. You unlock different weapons as you play, which is an unlocking system, I guess. But it's a bit of a shame when you jump into the multiplayer for the first time, you go, I'm playing as the heavy. I can't use the multi-melter. I'm the sniper. I can't use the las fusel. I can't use the guns I want to use until I get to a certain point. Whereas PvE, you can just jump in and try anything you want. I know with PvE they're going to be adding a PvE prestige system so that you can actually show off how good you are at PvE, which kind of sucks for me because I've kind of played it to death and I've unlocked everything, so now going through it, I have to do it again, I suppose. Join me for my next video. I put 300 hours into Space Marine 2. But especially right now, there's not really a reason to play PvP. The game modes, there's 3 game modes. There's King of the Hill, there's Elimination, and then there's a kind of mix between the two. It's there's 3 different points you have to capture. It's kind of dull. Some of the classes like the Bulwark are extremely frustrating because if you are fighting a Bulwark and you play as any class other than the Assault, you're pretty much screwed. They can dodge away from grenades, so grenades aren't very effective. Their shield can block all attacks without taking any stamina damage. So people on these capture games will if you're playing as Bulwark, they'll just camp in a corner with their shield up, and you can't really get rid of them easily unless you have a bunch of you, 3 or 4 of you, encircle him and shoot him in the back. They're a massive pain to get rid of, and so then the other teammates can just pick on you. The Assault class in particular, because of his verticality, is quite useful because he'll just drop in out of nowhere and you're going, what's going on? But the biggest problem with PvE, why don't we have 6-player lobbies? Me and the guys from Law Crimes, we've been gagging to destroy Astartes Anonymous in a friendly game, and we can't do it because we can only get 3 of the 4 of us from Law Crimes in a lobby as it is, and that would be the same for Astartes Anonymous, and then we can't do a private PvE lobby, PvP lobby. You can do PvE fine. The connection is a bit iffy sometimes, but they've done an update and it seems to have improved things a bit. But PvP, I just don't see a point in playing PvP. There's no prestige ranks, there's no progression other than unlocking guns. And yes, there are levels, and you can level up your PvP characters, but it's nowhere near as satisfying as PvE. So I've got a few levels with each class, and I've gone, I'm okay, I don't need to play this. What would be nice is if they had unique cosmetics just for PvP. So maybe you get a Cornate helmet if you max out the Assault class. Maybe you get a Nurgle style helmet if you max out the Bulwark. If you maxed out each class and you had a PvP exclusive branch of upgrade cosmetics, that would be cool, but right now there's just no reason to play them. As far as PvE goes, the weapon customization is rubbish. The fact that there's 4 different tiers of weapon, there's normal, mastercrafted, artificer, and relic. The relic guns look really cool, but even though there's 3 to 4 per weapon, you're gonna have duplicates. For example, every weapon has a golden marble version, and then there's a golden steel version, and then there's just a copy-pasted one, which is also an upgradable weapon, where a purity seal, instead of being here, is over here. And they do this with all the guns. All the guns have lots of different variables, but why didn't they just add 1 extra cosmetic to fill the gap, or 2 in some cases? It's really lazy. Until you get to relic, all the guns, or to be fair, some of the artificer ones are quite cool. They got the little shields and heraldry systems up. They look quite cool, but the Thunder Hammer, for PvE relic, there's no, it's just one. Like, there's 3 hammers you can get, and they all look exactly the same. And it's like, they couldn't have made like a different one that looks shiny. There's too many repeat skins. It's kind of boring when you get to like, oh, I've unlocked a new appearance on my bolter, and it's just the purity seal is slightly to the left or slightly to the right. Really underwhelming, bit of a shame. I would have thought it would have been better if you unlocked like elements, so you unlock a purity seal as you progress a weapon tree, and then you could place it where you wanted, or you unlocked like a different grip or a different bow. I know it'd be like a lot more work, but in comparison to where it is right now, it's just really underwhelming. The relic weapons all look the same. Like there's if you use any of the ranged weapons, they all are there's one with marble and gold, and there's one with like steel and gold, and then every single weapon is a variation of that, which is a bit disappointing because it doesn't give you any variety. Yes, it's really easy to be like, oh, he's got relic guns when you're playing with other people in co-op, but it's like, it just looks kind of the same. Recently, while I was trying to get all my weapons maxed out, I was playing as the Assault. There's a glitch right now where for some reason, when you use the jump pack, you just die. I thought at first, oh, I've just like jumped into the fray a bit too keenly and I've been shot by a billion things at once, but like, no, I played a few more games and I've got footage. Sometimes when you use the jump pack, you run and then you drop like a stone. It even happened to me in one game twice in the span of a minute, which is really frustrating. Stun locking is a big problem. I know the devs have said that gun strikes, where you get a little bit of like a bit of damage on the enemies, they didn't want that to be an invulnerability like when you're dodging or using an execution, because it might make the game too easy. But the problem with that is that it gets really frustrating when you're trying to play the game and then you're doing the gun strikes, and then all of a sudden 3-4 enemies all hit you at once, and then you're disorientated, and then another one hits you, and you can get into a pattern sometimes where, especially there was one time, a Hellbrute spawned on me, as well as a Scarab Occult Terminator, while I was on the train level, just pressing the buttons. So I'm pressing the button, they both spawn on me, and then I get ganked instantly, because one's hit me with a hammer, one's stabbing with... I couldn't do anything about that. It's frustrating that sometimes the enemies spawn directly on top of you, and these are little gripes. Overall, the PvE is exceptional. The fact that I'm only talking about little problems here and there is a testament to how good it really is. The fact that the game gives you random spawns, it gives you a variety of objectives like escort this train, defend this position, press that button. Ooh, like there's some fun things to do, and playing with other characters. I understand why they've locked all the PvE to only allowing one of each class, because technically all the characters are Ultramarine characters. They all have names like you got Decimus, Quartus, Scipius, Valius, etc. And it's kind of weird that they're basically, when you're playing the game, if you're not wearing Ultramarine colors, they're kind of cosplaying as other chapters. There are little things like when you're playing as the Bulwark and use the banner, it's always an Ultramarine banner. I'd love it if they added voice lines of different chapters. So when you went into the cosmetics and you picked, say, a White Scar, he sounded different to the Ultramarine versions, but I understand it would be a lot of work. But at the same time, it's just voice lines. I mean, I do voice lines for a living. I'm sure many people would be happy to contribute their voice to a different faction or character, and you could make it so much cooler with the variety of having like, hey, here's your heraldry, here's your armor, and also here's your voice lines, and you could have different voices to different characters, and that'd be really cool. Will they do it? Doubt it. Probably not, but I think it would be good. I really enjoyed in the campaign they had a photo mode, which was really cool, but it is frustrating that it's not in PvP or PvE, and I understand why. They don't want players pausing the game mid-fight to take a photograph. That would be really annoying, especially for PvP. But another thing they could implement, which I know they won't do because it would be tons of work, but it'd be really cool. Imagine if they had a theater mode, kind of like with what we had with Halo, and like Halo came out. Halo 3 came out like 20 years ago? Oh, I'm getting old, jeez. But the game gave you the ability to go back into theater mode, and you could like watch the entirety of a multiplayer game. And that'd be really cool if we had the same thing with Space Marine 2. And you could have all these opportunities to be like, oh, remember, like, here's a bit of me gloating. I have now been playing the game for video purposes so much that I basically soloed a Hive Tyrant. Could you imagine if I could then also go through that footage with a camera and have the bit where I'm pointing the gun at the Hive Tyrant while it's like screaming and there's like a shot ringing out, or you could have bits where I'm dodging that big bladed attack. It would be so cool if we had the ability to use theater mode or photography, cinema mode, whatever it's called. If we could use that in the other game modes somehow, it'd be so good. But right now it's just if you want to play the campaign again. And not being funny, I played the campaign, I enjoyed the campaign. I went and got all the audio logs because I had some free time, I guess. But the problem was, once you've played it once, there's no real point to play it again. Even the fact that there's no achievements to complete the game on harder difficulties, there's nothing you could unlock by playing the campaign on different difficulties or doing certain things, is a bit of a shame. It's a small point. Again, it's nitpicking, but it's just a bit of a shame. I know in the future we're going to be getting Horde mode, I know we're going to get PvE rankings, I know we're going to be getting a bunch more cosmetics like Dark Angels cosmetic packs and other chapters. I hope we'll get a White Scars one, probably not. It's going to be Blood Angels, let's be honest, oh well. But the point is, even though they're adding, like a new weapon in the Volkite pistol, they're adding a new mode to play against the Horde. If they want the game to continue to be well received, they're going to have to figure out ways to implement really cool game-changing ideas. Do you mind? Really cool ideas like a theater mode expansion. With Horde mode, I don't know if they're going to give us, things to unlock through Horde mode, but it would be really cool. I'm a big fan of the Gears of War games. I mean, you might be able to tell. But the point is, I loved playing Horde mode with my friends, going wave 1 to 50 every weekend, several hours at a time on insane mode. I have really high hopes for the Horde mode in this game, but if they want people to keep playing, we need more than just cosmetics, because cosmetics are great. Cosmetics are fun. This isn't Destiny 2 where you have to, pay actual money for cosmetics. That would suck. But the point is, if they want the game to continue to flourish, and it's in a really good state already, we need more. I also understand there are rumors there might be a Necron faction coming out soon. It would make sense. Some of the game takes place in like a Tomb World area. So I hope we get Necrons. It also works with the gameplay that you'd have like a big horde type enemy that can just trudge forward. It's kind of like the problem with when you play a lot of games, you can't have too much of a human element to a lot of the factions you fight because otherwise the individuality gets in the way. But you can have Necrons, they're machine automatons, they arrive in droves. That would work fine. But overall, I would say that Space Marine 2 has been a breath of fresh air. I love a third-person shooter, I love an action game. I haven't played a brand new game in a long time. I've been one of those guys who's kind of lost a lot of faith in the gaming industry these years because everything that comes out is so cut corners and manipulative, money grabbing, etc. So it's quite refreshing to have a game that came out and it works great and there's barely any glitches apart like here's my white scarf floating in the air. But other than that, it's a really fun, solid experience. It's really good. And I want this game to continue to flourish, but at the end of the day, we're no longer in 2010 or even 2001. We need progression systems, we need unlocks, we need incentives as players to keep playing. And don't get me wrong, I spent 150 hours on this game. There was a lot to unlock as it was, but that's mainly the guns. And I know that now that I've maxed them out, there's like nothing else to do. But if they add another tier to the guns, if they overhauled the guns, that would be really cool. Added more skins to the ones we've already unlocked, maybe add an extra tier so you got relic. I don't know what they would call it, but you put in another tier and it's like the best guns you can ever get for the new difficulty mode, and they'll be great in horde mode, and then that would be fantastic. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've had a lot of fun playing Space Marine 2. It's been great playing games with some of the other Warhammer YouTubers. We've been doing PvE together. It's been great to see the response. It's been great to see how this game has completely injected a new it's been a shot in the arm for the community. It's been a massive boost to getting people into the hobby, because what better way to get into the hobby than a video game that's absolutely brilliant, and it nails the aesthetic and it nails the atmosphere and the action and the lore, and it's presented well, and there's no manipulative design strategies implemented, and it's not taking the piss with the lore. Chef's kiss. So if you haven't played Space Marine 2 and you care what I think about it, this is a ringing endorsement. You should play Space Marine 2. It's my favorite game of the year so far. But again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't play many new games, but it was one of those games where I was I was obligated to play it. I'm a Warhammer YouTuber. Why wouldn't I get Space Marine 2? It makes sense. But I was so pleased with the experience, and I'm looking forward to the new updates. I'm probably not going to play anymore because there's not really any point to play anymore. I mean, I've got everything. Kind of like what I was saying before. There's nothing for me to unlock. There's nothing else for me to do. But I've had a whale of a time. I've really enjoyed making different classes with different heraldry schemes, whether that's a Doom Eagle, Assault class, or I made recently a Fallen Angel, Bulwark. And even when there's no heraldry markers for what I want to create, like a Storm Warden, I can kind of make it work with how the paint, and I love how all the color schemes are named after the paint pots. That's a nice touch. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you're still playing Space Marine 2, you continue to enjoy it. This video might age like milk with updates, but you know, it's how we are right now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying Space Marine 2, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.
Mother, where are you, puppy? You don't call, you don't write letters. Your father and I are worried sick about you. We called your friends and they said you're busy hanging around Chiron and Gadriel? Are they even Jewish? We're sorry we said your YouTube channel isn't going anywhere. Just please call us.
Hey buddy, it's Chaotic. I'm just calling you to see how you're doing and stuff. I'm sorry, I can't keep up the charade anymore. Lad, me and the other guys were worried. We are worried sick. You've been playing Space Marine 2 the whole day. Your videos are lacking. Your social interaction is lacking. Your mum's asking if you're still alive, man. That's not normal. You're getting too many achievements in too little time. No sane man would play the game as much as you have. You're not a basement dweller, my man. You're not a basement... Don't act like one. I'm sorry. I'm being vitriolic. Just let us know if you're okay, if you need help. Okay? Love you, buddy.
Dude has not been offline since the release of Space Marine 2. I bet he hasn't touched grass in weeks.
Remembrancer, Dad is worried, Mom is worried, I'm worried, and even the dog is worried. I can understand alcohol addiction or some unhealthy obsession, but you have been playing this game for days without end. You don't even leave the house. I tried to turn off the electricity, but your console is still running. I don't know how, and honestly, I don't want to know. Just please turn off the game. The friends and family are worried about you. You are scaring them when you scream, "For the Emperor!" Please, just turn off the goddamn console.
This is one of them something. One of them things for this, I'll just call you Rem. Rem, you got to stop with all the Space Marine gaming. You see, you got a bit too much of that going on for you. I need you to get back to the gits. Alright? I know your name is like one of them, you me things, but the real place where it's at is with the gits. Alright? We gotta get you away from all them beakies and stuff. So, here's my proposal. You stop playing, and then you play something else. Might I recommend Speed Freaks?
Hey there, Remembrancer. Just wanted to check in, see how you were doing. You know, I haven't seen you do anything really except play Space Marine 2. Yeah, you've been really enjoying Space Marine 2. Yeah. Look, man, I'm just gonna cut to the chase now. We're all like hella worried about you. It's been days. We haven't seen you leave the house. Apparently, you haven't left the room. I don't know if you're eating anything. I mean, do you have a bathroom in there? We haven't seen you do that either. I don't know, man. We're just kind of worried. I mean, it's been like a couple days, and like, we're just really concerned. Like, are you okay, fam? I don't know. So, yeah, when you get this, just let me know you're alive. Okay, bye.
You see, Mr. Remembrancer, most people would be concerned about the amount of time you've been playing Space Marine 2. I am not. I am looking for a challenge. You see, I recognize your skill, and I want a 1v1 in an entirely different game. Hail of the Master Chief Collection. As most of the time on your frickin' Discord status, I see you playing it. You see, normally they say all gamers are created equal, but if you look at me and the Remembrancer, you can see that statement is not true. See, normally you go one-on-one with another gamer, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a Halo fanboy, and I am not normal, so you got a 25% at best chance to beat me. But if you throw Pancreas No Work into the mix, chances of winning go drastically down. But I'm going to keep this fair and not make this a triple threat free-for-all and give you an extra 8 1/3% to win. So at the 1v1, you got a 33 1/3 chance of winning. But I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning. Because everyone knows you can't beat me. And neither can Pancreas for that matter, and he isn't even involved. So Mr. Remembrancer, you take your 33 1/3 chance minus my 25% chance, you got an 8 1/3 chance of winning the 1v1. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if he was to go one-on-one. And then add my 66 2/3 chance of winning if this was a triple threat, then I got a 141 2/3 chance of winning the 1v1. So Mr. Remembrancer, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you on the Halo 3 Guardian 1v1 AR starts.
Hello, no one is available to take your call at this time. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey Andy, it's Wiki, just calling you up. I noticed you're on Discord playing Space Marine 2 right now, and then probably the main reason you didn't pick up, but me and the boys, we're getting a little bit concerned for you right now. I haven't really seen you do anything except for play Space Marine 2 since it released, to be completely honest. And like, just a little while back, we were playing together, I tried hopping off, and you said, the Codex Astartes does not support this. I mean, dude, we've played like 5 missions on the hardest difficulty, Ruthless, and I just need to hop. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning, dude. I need my sleep. You need to sleep. I'm sorry, man, I'm just worried. In reality, maybe I'm crazy. It's not like you played 100 hours in game or anything like that. So, I mean, just give me a call if you need to talk or need a break or whatever, and maybe we'll chat a little bit later. Bye.